In the golden sands of time, where empires rise and fall like the desert sun, one name echoes with a power that transcends millennia: Cleopatra. Her story is not merely one of a queen, but of a brilliant strategist, a captivating diplomat, and the last pharaoh of a dynasty that had ruled Egypt for 300 years. This is the tale of a woman who commanded legions, seduced conquerors, and defined an era. This is the story of Cleopatra VII Philopator. Born into the Ptolemaic dynasty, a Greek lineage that had ruled Egypt since the death of Alexander the Great, Cleopatra was destined for power, but her path was fraught with peril. From a young age, she was immersed in a world of cutthroat court politics. Unlike many of her predecessors, she embraced her Egyptian subjects, learning their language, the first of her family to do so, and honoring their gods. Her education was formidable. She studied rhetoric, philosophy, and mathematics, and was said to be fluent in at least 9 languages. This intellectual prowess would become her greatest weapon in the treacherous landscape of her own family. Her ascension to the throne alongside her younger brother was not a peaceful transition, but the opening move in a dangerous game of survival. Exiled by her brother's court, a lesser royal might have faded into obscurity. But Cleopatra was not a lesser royal. She was a queen biding her time, waiting for the perfect moment to reclaim her birthright. That moment would arrive with the most powerful man in the world. When Julius Caesar, the triumphant general of Rome, arrived in Alexandria, he found a city in turmoil. He came pursuing his rival, Pompey, but instead found himself entangled in Egypt's civil war. It was here that Cleopatra executed one of history's most audacious gambles. Barred from meeting Caesar by her brother's forces, she had herself secretly rolled into a rug and smuggled into the palace. Unfurled at Caesar's feet, she was not just a supplicant queen, but a bold and intelligent leader making an unforgettable impression. Caesar, captivated by her intellect and charm, chose to back her claim. This alliance, however, plunged Alexandria into war. The ensuing siege of Alexandria was a brutal conflict, a trial by fire for the young queen. She stood with Caesar, navigating the chaos of street battles and the burning of the Great Library. When the dust settled, Cleopatra was victorious, firmly seated on the throne of Egypt, now with a powerful Roman ally, and a son, Caesarion, whose existence tied her fate directly to Rome. After Caesar's assassination threw Rome back into chaos, a new power player emerged in the east, Mark Antony. A celebrated general and one of Caesar's most loyal followers, Antony summoned the Queen of Egypt to Tarsus to answer for her loyalties. Cleopatra, ever the master of spectacle, turned the summons into a legendary entrance. She arrived not as a vassal, but as the goddess Aphrodite herself, sailing up the river Cydnus in a magnificent golden barge with purple sails, fanned by servants dressed as cupids. Antony was utterly enchanted. What began as a political alliance quickly blossomed into one of history's most famous love affairs. For a decade, they ruled the eastern Mediterranean from Alexandria, living a life of legendary opulence and indulgence. They formed a society known as the Inimitable Livers, dedicated to pleasure and feasting. But their union was more than just romance. It was a powerful political statement. Together, they dreamed of a new Hellenistic empire, an ambition that placed them on a direct collision course with Caesar's heir in Rome, Octavian. The dream of an Eastern empire, forged by love and ambition, would be shattered in the waters off the coast of Greece. The year was 31 BC. The Battle of Actium was the final, decisive confrontation between the forces of Antony and Cleopatra and the navy of Octavian. It was a naval battle of immense scale, determining not just the fate of our protagonists, but the future of Rome and the entire Mediterranean world. The details of the battle are debated by historians, but the outcome was catastrophic. For reasons still discussed, Cleopatra's fleet withdrew from the battle, and Antony, seeing her sail away, abandoned his forces to follow her. The defeat was total. Their armies deserted, their allies scattered, and the path to Egypt was left wide open for Octavian's legions. The lovers returned to Alexandria not as triumphant rulers, but as defeated fugitives, their grand vision reduced to a desperate, final stand against the inevitable. The inimitable living was over. Now, only an inimitable death awaited them. Cornered in her palace in Alexandria as Octavian's forces swarmed the city, Cleopatra faced her end. Antony, having heard a false report of her death, took his own life. In her final moments, Cleopatra displayed the same resolve and dignity that had defined her reign. Refusing to be paraded through the streets of Rome as a spoil of war in Octavian's triumph, she chose her own destiny. According to the enduring legend, she had an asp, a symbol of divine royalty in Egypt, smuggled to her in a basket of figures. Its bite granted her a swift, majestic end, befitting the last queen of Egypt. With her death, the Ptolemaic dynasty ended, and Egypt became a province of the Roman Empire. But Cleopatra's story was far from over. Her legacy has fascinated artists, writers, and historians for 2,000 years. She has been portrayed as a seductress, a scholar, a hero, and a tyrant, but always as a figure of immense power and complexity. She remains an icon of female strength, a ruler who dared to challenge the might of Rome and who, in the end, became more famous than the conquerors who defeated her. Her name, etched into the annals of history, continues to captivate the world, a timeless testament to the queen who ruled with brilliance, passion, and an unyielding spirit. Thank you for joining us on this journey through her incredible life. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more stories from history.